I really like learning from the incidents other companies encounter because hopefully that'll keep me from running into something on my own. So this time I'm going to be talking about the 11-hour outage Datadog had recently. And I'm going to use that to drive a conversation about SLA. So Datadog's obviously an extraordinary company with very talented people. And, no one outside the company really has a clear sense of what went on. But the thing that I noticed during that outage was that their SLA was 99.8% uptime, which basically means they can be down for 88 minutes each month. That's kind of a long time. Obviously, they breached that SLA also during this last month. But, I never really thought of Datadog as being unreliable. It's super reliable. I never worry about it. And so it's kind of interesting. And it led me to start thinking about what SLAs mean. So an SLA is kind of like across a month, how many periods of degradation or unavailability did you have? But that's really about, you can break that down into frequency, how often something occurred, amplitude, how bad it was, and duration, how long did it last. For a system like Datadog, it's really hard for somebody to build a highly reliable 4 nines environment on something that's, where you can't even see what's going on some portion of the time, right? But let's say that the frequency was much higher and the duration was much lower. They would breach SLA if they were down 3 minutes every day. But because, that's 93 minutes. But I wouldn't actually notice. Right? Because that's plenty of time for me to get back, see the monitoring, and address the issues in my environment. Very little is going to go wrong in 3 minutes in my environment. Let's say instead it's down for 80 minutes just once. Now that's actually scary to me, right? Even though they haven't breached their SLA. And let's say that was just happening once a month. Because I might have a fleet of 1,000 nodes where the probability that something's going on in the environment and I'm not seeing it is suddenly high, right? Or higher. It's almost the opposite of the SLA environment for a database. If I was shipping a database to you from when I was back at AWS that was down every day for just a minute, I might think I was doing well from an SLA perspective, but it's going to go through cache recovery. You have to reconnect. It's actually a much longer outage for you than it is for the database itself. Whereas if it's down for half an hour, once a month, it's not that big a deal. So that's sort of what SLAs are mostly about, duration and frequency. Amplitude is also an issue. It makes a bigger difference if I can't get to the EC2 API to create a new instance than if I can't get to the EC2 API to find out what my RIs are, reserved instances are. So, it's not all the same thing. Errors in one is not the same as errors in the other. And sometimes amplitude is actually an area that I would encourage you all to really think deeply about because I've had other services which would tell me like, hey, we didn't breach SLA because on a worldwide basis, we were just fine. We were only down in Frankfurt for an hour. Now, yeah, but my customers in Frankfurt were kind of screwed. And, even if I don't have as many there. So, you have to think about how the error distributes as well. And that might not be something that you publish in terms of an external SLA, but you really have to think about the quality of your experience internally in terms of how often each and every one of your customers is ending up with a bad day because of you. This is a deep topic. I'd love to continue it in the comments or on reliability.org, the Slack channel that I and a bunch of people who are interested in reliability are creating.